Hello, welcome back to the woods. And welcome back to another video all about which bushcraft books to choose. Now, while the internet is great for learning stuff and YouTube is a terrific resource, it's still dependent on a signal and a battery. And if you haven't got those, well, you're a bit stuffed. However, a book needs none of those things, and it can go in your pack and it contains all sorts of useful information that you can reference. The question is, which ones do you choose? So I did a little video a while ago where we looked at 3 choices. In this video I'm going to look at another 3 choices. 2 of them are by very well known authors. One of them is by one guy who's not quite so well known, but he is equally as good. So my first recommendation, well, it's by a very well-known author. He's a guy who's travelled all over the world and trained in virtually every climatic zone. He's Mears, and this book, Bushcraft, is one that he wrote a few years back, and it's a very, very good book. It's written in a really nice way. Ray writes very, very well, and this one's laid out in a nice logical sequence. So it starts off by looking at what gear you're going to need, what tools you're going to need, how to use them. With that done, what he then does is he then goes into shelter, water, food, etc, etc. There's sections on knots, traps, shelters, water procurement. Everything is in there and in really good detail. As I said, he's travelled and trained all over the world, and this book shows that. So when he talks about clothing, he gives examples of the clothing you'll wear in arid regions, jungle regions, temperate regions, Arctic regions, etc. So there's an awful lot in this book. It's very well illustrated. It's illustrated by a guy called Ben McNutt, who is also a very talented bushcraft instructor who runs a company called Woodsmoke up in the northwest of England, and it's also illustrated with lots of absolutely superb photographs that Ray's taken through his career on his various travels all over the world, and it is an excellent book. It is a bit on the big side, however, this was sort of distilled down into what's known as Essential Bushcraft, which is a smaller paperback version. All the same diagrams, just printed a bit smaller. Not any of the big, large panoramic photos, but an awful lot of the other photos and all of the information. It's all contained in that book. It's a very good book for beginner or someone who's been around the block a bit more in the world of bushcraft. There is plenty for everybody in this book. Excellent book. I think Essential Bushcraft is about 14 or 15 pounds. You can get it on Amazon. It's a really good read. So that's my first one to check out. My next one, Dave Canterbury, and this is his Bushcraft 101, which is basically a beginner's guide to bushcraft, and there is an awful lot of information contained in these pages. A few of the reviews online said, oh, there weren't enough diagrams. Well, he also brought out an illustrated version of this where there's a lot more diagrams. I guess people learn in different ways. Some people need the diagrams, some people are quite happy with just having it in print. I think the actual book is a very good balance between the two. Again, he talks about the outfit, the gear that you're going to need. He then takes you through camp setup and all your different priorities. So basics of firelighting, your basics of cordage, combustion. A lot of it is linked to his 10 C's, which all makes sense. And this is, for a beginner, a very good book. Now, he also brought out the other one, the advanced. So you've got Bushcraft 101 and you've got Advanced Bushcraft. Both excellent books, and the two together are really good. Advanced Bushcraft also covers things like basic machines, so stuff that you can make out of wood that are going to make your life easier, like bush windlass, etc, etc. very good. He also looks a little bit more about making some of your own gear in there as well, whether it's buckskin shirts, etc, etc. Everything is contained in these 2 books. Again, easily available. You can pick them up on Amazon. Great purchase that suit either the beginner or the more experienced bushcrafter. So excellent ones. Dave writes prolifically. He's got a very good writing style. He explains things really well. The section's on trapping. Dave knows a lot about trapping, and it shows in that section. It's an excellent little book. Now the next one is by someone who's not so well known, and it's a guy I know, strangely enough, and it's this book. It's written by Joe O'Leary, and it's called Wilderness Survival Skills, and essentially this is a whole bushcraft course contained in those pages. Everything from the kit list right the way through to packing your kit, through to your camp setup, through to procuring all the things that you need. Everything is contained in this book. Joe is a top bloke, he's very experienced, and it shows in the pages here. The content of the book is very good. It's explained in a realistic way. You can tell he's a guy who teaches a lot because he explains things in a very simple way. The illustrations are good. They're done by a guy called Kev Palmer, and Kev is also a very experienced bushcrafter and bushcraft instructor. So a very good book. Again, you can pick this one up on Amazon. It's easy to get hold of. I think it's about 12 quid. Inside, loads of simple diagrams, lots of text that explains stuff in a simple way. So excellent resource for anybody just starting out in the world of bushcraft. And if you've got the other ones by the well-knowns, give Joe O'Leary's book a go, because it really is a very good book. So there you go. Those are my 3 recommendations. A couple of well-knowns, someone who's not so well-known. Get out there, give them a go. They really are very good reads, and they're of a size that you can fit in your pack, take them out on a day like today, sit in the woods and perhaps give some of those skills a try. If you enjoyed this video, then obviously remember to hit that thumbs up button, and stay tuned to the channel because I've got some other stuff coming up. I've got a knife, not review, but a comparison of an old favourite which I've resurrected, and I'll bring out, so I'm going to share that with you. There's a couple of other reviews, bits and pieces coming up, and there's a couple of skills one. There's also a really good super simple stick project. Now down below in that description box, as well as links to the books that I've talked about today, there's also a link over there to my Etsy shop. Pop over, get yourself one of the Greencraft patches. Occasionally there's other bits over there as well. There's a few alcohol stoves up there at the moment, and I'm about to put up some sets of jungle toggles. There's also going to be another run of the minimal survival scarves coming up too. I think that's everything. I've been Neil, and until next time, stay safe in the woods.